Good evening, Tallahassee, and welcome to FSU Weather Friday edition. It's the end of our amazing week, and it's actually ending on a warm note. I'm meteorologist Melissa Geiger, and we're going to get right into our show tonight. High 80 degrees and partly cloudy. Not sure if we hit that record just yet. We'll see that later on in the show, but we did hit a record high yesterday for February for that day. Clouds covering the stadium a little bit, but not those ominous clouds we saw yesterday with that smoke mixed in. So a little bit better view tonight. Current temperatures 80 in Tallahassee, 70s up north, 69 at Perry, maybe a little bit of sea breeze, fog coming in. Our active weather alerts, there is a big story going on out west where we have winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings, and even a blizzard warning in Southern California. We'll go over that more with you tonight. And tonight's headlines, feeling hot, hot, hot across the southern U.S. Even the dinosaurs would be sweating right now. Remembering the Central Florida tornado outbreak and a wintry west, we're going to go over all of this and more with you tonight on FSU Weather.
Dinosaurs and sweating, that's pretty much what you can describe every single college student on campus today. Hi, I'm student meteorologist Chandler Pruitt. So today, of course, has been a hot one. We've been emphasizing that all week long. Temperatures have been racing into the 80s, starting off cool earlier in the week and then getting much warmer by the middle and, of course, today, end of the week. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the temperatures a little bit, even though it has been very warm. Getting outside, enjoying the nice sunshine, beautiful conditions if you're trying to take a walk out on the beach, those kind of things. But it's been quite enjoyable overall, except for when you remember it is February. So we will actually be talking a little bit about some nicer February-like conditions out west. But maybe not so nice is the blizzard that we'll talk about over in the West Coast. But before we get to that, we'll toss things over to the local to cover more of the weather here.
Yes, thank you, Chandler. As you can see, we've got a really nice sunset at Doak Campbell Stadium, but we had a really warm day today. We've got some clouds though, and that's going to create some fog eventually as we go into a very warm and humid night tonight. But here's our current temperature. We're 80 degrees now. It's been a very unseasonably warm day, and your wind is right out of the Gulf of Mexico, and that's what's causing that right now. If you look at St. George Island, you're already starting to get a bit of fog off over the ocean. It looks like you can see it's pretty hazy here, and you can't really see too well outside this camera at the moment, but you're at 68 along the beach because you got the sea breeze, which has already moved in over St. George Island, but it was a warm day here too. Bradfordville, this is some nice looking clouds, possibly mixed in with smoke because we do have some controlled burns in the area right now. And you are at 83 degrees still. You are even warmer than Tallahassee because the sea breeze hasn't quite moved in that far yet. And as you look at your hour by hour, as we go into tomorrow, we've got another warm day expected. High at 85 degrees around 4 in the afternoon. This is unseasonably warm weather for February, and we could hit another record high. We did hit a record high today, 86 degrees. The record high was 84 in 1944, so unseasonably warm temperatures. Our low was 69 degrees. Our low at 69 degrees was actually closer to our average high than our high was. Our low was about where we normally are in the middle of the day today. So we were obviously nowhere near our record low of 24 degrees. As you look at your local radar though right now, we've got no showers. The only little specks you see are just some controlled burns across the area. We don't have much in the way of moisture at the moment, so that's definitely not good because we're in a drought and we're warm. As your current temperatures area-wide are still near 80 degrees inland, along the coast you're closer to 70 degrees, but 80 degrees at 6 o'clock in the evening in February is way above where we should be at this time of the year. And it's going to feel much more like May than it does February, especially with our dew point at 69 degrees. That's just going to create a heat index as well. We may not have a lot of moisture in terms of precipitation, but it's definitely very humid outside for this time of the year. 70-degree dew point in Apalachicola is usually more like what you would see in the summer for a dew point. And tonight, we're only going to get down to the low 60s. So we've got another warm night. Not as warm as last night, but still going to be pretty warm. And as you look at your future radar, we have some clouds, maybe some fog, but think we're going to see much in the way of showers. When you get those green specks in the middle of the night on humid nights like this, that's more indicating dense fog than it is actual showers. As you look at tomorrow's forecast, though, another warm day in the mid-80s near record high temperatures. Tonight, we're going to get down to about 62 degrees under mostly cloudy conditions. Tomorrow, we're going to be at about 84 degrees under partly cloudy conditions. And as you look at your week ahead, it stays warm all week. We do have a front coming through next Friday, which we will have to watch for the potential of severe weather next Friday. But now I'm going to pass things off to Nikki.
Thank you so much, Nico. I am going to be talking about us here in Florida right now. As you can see on the radar, it is quite clear. Not any precipitation as far as we can see on our radar right now. Looking over at Miramar Beach, it looks pretty cloudy. Our camera might be a little bit blurry, but I think it might just be a little bit foggy at the beach right now. 73 degrees, partly cloudy. That may be why the camera looks a little foggy. So maybe not the best time to be at the beach right now, but if you like a colder beach day, then maybe it's the time for you. Right now, as I said, it is pretty clear in Tallahassee at least. We have a little bit of ground clutter that may be just something blocking the radar, but not anything in the way of precipitation. In Orlando, it is absolutely gorgeous outside. I would love to be there right now in the big city of Florida. It is 87 degrees though, which is very, very warm for this time of year, I'd have to say. It's still winter. We have to keep that in mind. It is 87. I would not appreciate that. It has been very warm outside today. As we get into the north to central Florida area, we're still seeing very clear conditions across the area. I-75, it is not any rain to be seen right now. And just a beautiful sunset right now over Duck Key and the Florida Keys. Absolutely gorgeous night. Make sure you're going for a walk on the beach. It is 81 degrees and sunny. It feels like summer almost. I would say it is actually very unseasonably warm, but it's Florida. That's what the people here want. And as we get into South Florida, as we can see, just still clear. No rain to be seen, which is amazing if you want to spend your time outside tonight. For our current temperatures, we are seeing, as I said, it's been a very unseasonably warm day. I think the dinosaurs would love this. 80 degrees here. A little bit of a colder spot in Pensacola with 73 degrees, but as we get down into Orlando, it's 83, and Key West is 80 degrees. Very, very toasty out. And the Gulf is bringing that moisture up into Florida right now. 69 dew point in Tallahassee, and 60s basically all around the board here. Very moist as usual. It's what we love to see here. The alligators love it, our little dinosaurs. Tonight we're going to be seeing temperatures 61 here, 58 in Gainesville. Congratulations to any of the kids that got accepted into UF today. I still think FSU was better, but congratulations to you. For our future radar, still going to be pretty clear for the weekend, so make sure you're making those plans. Find something fun to do outside. Make sure you're having a good time. And for tomorrow, it is going to be 84 degrees as our high here, and just very still warm across all of Florida. Now, let's expand a little bit more on the southeast. How is that looking, Melissa?
Yeah, so the southeast is kind of seeing similar conditions throughout the entire area. We're seeing those warmer conditions, some cooler conditions. Go back to that picture and let you see that one more time. Clouds across the entire area because we have a low pressure and some stationary fronts sitting across pretty much the middle of the southeast. But still some nice conditions, unless you don't like the heat, like our dinosaurs that passed away a long time ago. So again, there's that cold front that's sitting across the, here my friends in the back laughing at that, low pressure system over the southeast, bringing that rainfall into the Atlanta area and into our Carolinas and Tennessee area. Down further south, we have that high pressure sitting over there and keeping all that heat in. That's what's really causing our heat this time of year, blocking out all that cloud cover so that that heat can just heat us up during the day and not losing it much at night because those dew points are so high. Our current temperature is 80 degrees in Tallahassee, pretty much 80s across the entire state of Florida. Cooling off a little bit as you get into the western southeast states, Little Rock, Arkansas, Shreveport, 61. So again, it gets a little cooler as you go past that cold front that's sitting above Florida, but still seeing some pretty above average temperatures for this time of year. Our current winds, 8 miles an hour through Tallahassee, 10 through Mobile. So a little bit of a breeze coming through with those systems that are sitting around us, 12 in Miami. And all of that is a southerly wind, so that's bringing in that moisture that we're seeing and helping it keep it humid. Again, that high pressure is blocking that low pressure from coming in and actually giving us some rainfall that we kind of need for right now. And that's going to persist going into the next couple days. That high pressure is not going anywhere. It's just going to keep sitting down below south of Florida, preventing that cold front from actually coming in and really doing anything. So we're not going to see any temperatures cooling off for pretty much the next 3 or 4 days. Weather map again, high pressure is still sitting there on Monday, but that cold front is starting to come through, starting to push this high pressure out of the way, and that's when we'll be seeing some rain coming in on Tuesday. So again, be on the lookout for that. Hopefully that'll give us a little bit of relief from what we're seeing right now. Our muggy cast, even our dinosaurs, would have dry skin in this weather up to the northern southeast states. 46 and 47 in Memphis, really dry conditions, but as we get lower, again, that southerly flow is bringing that moisture in from the Gulf, bringing that humidity in, and raising our meters up. So our muggy cast is actually kind of high for this time of year, sitting in the 50s. But for our weekend in Charlotte, looking at temperatures in 50s and 60s, going up to the 70s, Nashville going into 50s and 60s and cooling down to 40s at night. Tampa, again, staying really warm, high 80s, dropping into low 80s by the beginning of the week. And New Orleans, seeing again warm temperatures, 80s, 70s, 80s, and lows of the 60s. But that's all we have for the Southeast. We're going to take a bigger zoom out and look at our national with Nikki.
Thank you, Melissa. Yes, there is quite a bit going on right now. We have that low pressure system over here in California, bringing some unprecedented winter weather to that area, which is very interesting. And there's a stationary front going over here, and then we have a little bit of a high pressure down here, which is keeping Tallahassee as dry as it is right now, relatively dry, as in there's no precipitation. And we have a little bit of a low pressure system here that's bringing that rain over to the southeast as well. Our water vapor is kind of showing the same thing. You can see that winter weather going on over here with the blue here, and as you get over to the southeast as well, you can see a little bit of that blue. That is the rain that's going on right now. As we can see on the temperatures, it is very cold in Bismarck, North Dakota, -2 degrees, which is absolutely bonkers when you compare it down to Florida, 80 degrees here. The dinosaurs would not love this. It would probably put them right to sleep. They need a nice little blanket or something, because I do not think that I would survive out in the elements if it was -2 degrees. Personally, as I am from Florida. And for the dew points, it is also very dry out there as well. Maybe the dinosaurs would like that. -11 dew point in Bismarck. I'm pointing that out because negatives are absolutely insane. 36 in San Francisco, 51 in Los Angeles, where I believe there's actually a blizzard warning out right now. But as you get to the southeast, the Gulf is bringing that moisture in. 69 in Tallahassee, 65 in Miami, and 69 in New Orleans. Very contrasting. For our max temperature anomalies, you can see that the southeast is a lot warmer than usual, and the rest of the country is basically a lot colder than usual. And for the minimum temperature anomalies, you can basically see the same thing. It's a lot warmer than the minimum usually is, and in the rest of the country, it's a lot colder than the minimum usually is. So sorry to the people out there. We're kind of flexing on you with our warm weather, but you chose to live there. For our drought monitor, there's a lot of drought out to the west. Another unfortunate occurrence is so dry out there, but even in Florida, we're seeing a little bit of a drought because we haven't been seeing as much rain as we usually do during this time. And we take a little zoom into Florida here. We haven't gotten as much rain as we usually do in February, so we're having a little bit of a drought in our state. There's no rain currently in Florida, but as we get a little bit north in the southeast, Memphis, we're seeing quite a bit of rain, and that surrounding area as well. The northeast, we have a bit of snow in New York and in Chicago and Iowa. We're also seeing that rain. For the northwest, you can't really see much. There's a lot of cloud cover, but if you look pretty close, you can see a little bit of that winter storm in California. And in the southwest, you can just see a bigger scale of what that storm in California is looking like. for our 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, it is looking like it's going to be pretty average, not too much or too little than usual. And now I'm going to pass things over to Chandler.
That's right. We've been avoiding the West Coast, and that's for a particular reason, actually. Let's go back. We wanted to actually highlight the active weather that we're seeing across the West Coast in its own segment real quick. We're actually seeing blizzard warnings issued, as we mentioned earlier, for portions of the mountains outside of LA and for the Sierra Nevadas. We also have winter weather advisory as well as winter storm warnings that are in effect for the rest of today and into the weekend. That Southwest satellite and radar really shows these bands of precipitation coming up from the Pacific, and we have a decent amount of moisture heading into the mountains where that elevation helps keep things cool enough to where the snow can fall and accumulate quite rapidly. We're looking at future radar. We see more of that band and heavy snow going across the mountains. We actually could see snow all the way down into Mexico around Tijuana. But as we watch this system go, it will start to dissipate a little bit as it gets through the southwest region and loses some of that moisture that it needed, and then it will clear out by Monday. But for that future forecast for our snowfall totals, the GFS is saying somewhere above 30 feet could be, or 30 inches could be seen across the Sierra Nevadas. Some places approaching over 3 feet for sure. And then for the Euro snowfall, we're seeing a little bit less snow totals, but still quite significant across the Sierra Nevadas. So something to pay attention to if you are living out there or if you're trying to go have fun out there. But now we're going to actually toss things back over to Florida. We have a special segment recorded for you guys covering a historical tornado outbreak.
Hey guys, the weather in Florida is quiet right now, but 25 years ago, that was not the case. About 25 years ago, we just passed the anniversary of it, Florida's deadliest tornado outbreak occurred where 42 people were killed, 265 were hurt, over 3,000 structures were damaged when 7 tornadoes, 3 F3 tornadoes, still the strongest in the state, touched down in central Florida. So what was the setup behind that? Well, we had a cold front coming in like we see often in the winter months like February, but we also had a strong jet stream coming from west to east across the panhandle. We also had the low-level jet coming in bringing warm, moist winds in from the south, and when those 3 collided, we got strong tornadoes. In total, there were 7 tornadoes that day. One of the first ones up here near Daytona Beach was an F2, but we also saw one near Claremont and Winter Garden that was an F3, and then it eventually lifted and went back on the ground in Seminole County nearing Sanford Airport and Lake Mary. One of the stronger tornadoes of the night went through Ponderosa RV Park near Kissimmee. That was also an F3, and there was also another tornado in Titusville and Rockledge near the Kennedy Space Center. So one of the stronger tornadoes from that night, and the first one, was the F2 in Daytona Beach. We notice with the couplet here, we've got strong winds moving towards and away from the radar, just showing a traditional sign of a strong tornado. We'll also notice with the Winter Garden tornado, the only picture we have from that night is of the Winter Garden tornado. And we'll notice just a strong rotation within, right near Ocoee, approaching Winter Springs. And then if we look at the radar behind me as well, we start to notice some inflow and some rotation in with the reflectivity. The Sanford tornado, another F3, also was a continuation of the Winter Garden tornado. It lifted and eventually put itself back down in Seminole County near 417 in Sanford. So we notice this one a little more rain-wrapped, but the rotation is still there. We'll notice right here near Sanford, that's near the Sanford Airport right there, and Lake Jessup. So the last tornado we're going to kind of look at is the Kissimmee tornado. This was the one that had most damage with it as it went through the Ponderosa RV Park. We'll notice this one, more of a rain-wrapped tornado as well, but with the velocity, we'll see strong rotation with it, just damaging tornado. Now the tornadoes were rated F3, the strong ones were, and the Fujita scale was retired in 2007. But remember, these tornadoes occurred in 1998. So taking a look at what an F2 tornado would be, that would have 113 to 157 mile-per-hour winds. That would make it considerable damage, and then upping it to F3, 158 to 206 mile-per-hour winds, making it severe. And actually, the Kissimmee tornado was originally rated an F4, but after further research was conducted, it was determined it was only an F3. Still, though, one of the strongest tornadoes that we can get, and the strongest in state history to this day. So where should you be in the event that you find yourself under a tornado warning? Well, the safest place to be is the basement, but many of us in Florida don't have those. So where should we go? Get as low as we can. Just get to the ground floor if possible, and get as far away from windows as possible. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Lastly, cover yourself with blankets or mattress, or even a bicycle helmet if you have one. It may sound silly, but these types of advice may be able to save your life in a tornado.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you loved that video that Ryan put together for you. Special shout out to Ryan Cedargren for putting that together for you guys tonight. But we're going to head back over. You know, I've thought sometimes, has a dinosaur ever been picked up by a tornado? We might never know, but we're just going to enjoy the sunset for tonight. Beautiful sunset going down over Doak Campbell Stadiums, that bright orangey pink color coming through. And today was actually a bit hot and humid, 80 degrees and partly cloudy, something very different than we normally see for this time of year in February. But some people might have enjoyed it. I know my fellow Floridians were getting to love this warm air that's finally come in. Gonna be going away at the beginning of the week, unfortunately. But right now, across the entire area, we actually have some sea fog starting to move in off St. George Island. We've kind of seen this the past couple weeks, where we have that sea fog rolling off of the warm Gulf and moving onto land once we get into our evening hours. But most other areas seeing cloudy skies, partly cloudy skies, so that cloud cover is trying to move into our area. Local radar really not showing anything. Really nice conditions. You may want to take advantage of it. And if you maybe see some stars tonight, go out and enjoy your night out before maybe that rain comes back through the beginning of next week. Our current temperature is 80 degrees in Tallahassee. Seeing those temperatures, cooler temperatures starting to move in. Again, probably with that sea fog moving in on the coast. A little bit cooler temperatures up north, 77 in Donaldsonville. Tonight's forecast, not really dropping down as much as we typically see for this time of year. Again, our lows are still going to be sitting pretty much above average, quite a bit above average for this time of year. 61 in Tallahassee, 61's pretty much across the entire area, with a few isolated 60s and 62 down in Apalachicola down by that coast. So again, a lot warmer than normal. Unfortunately, tonight isn't a great night for stargazing, but it's not awful either. So you may be able to take advantage of it. Maybe you can get that pocket of cloud-free air. Sunset at 6:33, so that's going to be going down here any minute. And sunrise at 7:09 if you want to catch maybe a cool-looking sunrise on your way into work tomorrow. 24% waxing gibbous, so again, not the greatest conditions, but may be able to make the most out of your night tonight. Future radar, again, not really a whole lot going through the weekend. Maybe a few isolated showers that come through with that low pressure and frontal system that's sitting just north of us. And some cloud cover continuing to make its way through despite that high pressure sitting over us. And tomorrow, highs in the 80s again. Are we going to get to our record temperatures? Possibly. Maybe we'll see that record for that day again. But for airport delays, clear skies, nothing really to worry about for airport delays right now, even though there's that winter storm out. We're still looking at nice conditions over here, maybe a few little things going through. But our coastal conditions still warm air, warming up seas, and it's just seeing some nicer conditions. In the week ahead, fog coming in tomorrow with that patchy fog. In the morning, warm conditions all through next week. Maybe a cold front coming through later on in the week, and maybe some severe weather. But now I'm going to turn things over to Nico.
Yes, thank you, Melissa. We'll definitely be watching for that cooler weather because we are way above average for this time of the year. But now we're going to talk about our sports segment. Tomorrow we have our men's basketball game at Miami. We probably won't win this game, but it would be awesome if we could pull off an upset against our rival. That's the top-ranked team in the ACC right now. If you're going to be traveling to Miami for this game, though, the game is indoor, but if you're walking to the basketball arena, it's going to be warm and humid. So definitely be prepared for that. Our women's basketball team is playing at Clemson. This should be a good game. Our women's basketball team is pretty good this year. And if you're going to South Carolina for this looks like more nice weather for February than what we're seeing here in Tallahassee for sure. Our baseball team looks really good this year too. We have a big series against TCU. And tomorrow we have our game at 2 p.m. It looks like it's going to be really nice for this game if you're going to be outside. In the mid-70s, that's good weather to be outside for a baseball game. Our softball team is playing against Lamar at home, and it's going to be, unfortunately, very warm for them. This is probably not ideal weather to be outside, and you could easily get sunburnt during this. So definitely be prepared for that if you're going to be going to the softball game tomorrow. But now I'm going to pass things off to Nikki.
Thank you so much, Nico. Right now, we're going to see what's happening around town. It is currently still clear in Tallahassee. no precipitation to be seen on our radar. So it's a gorgeous night to go out on a walk. Even in the future, over the weekend, we're seeing mostly clear skies. As Melissa said, maybe a spotted isolated shower or two, but nothing for us to be worried about. Maybe if you're going to the Mag Lab open house, it should be a gorgeous day. There will be exhibits outside. I will be there. I hope to see you there. For tonight, we're going to be seeing those cooler temperatures for Floridians. Maybe a light jacket will be needed if you go out to College Town. Maybe your food at Madison Social outside. It's a great day. Even though the last time I went there, my table had a little bit of pollen on it. So maybe if you have those allergies, maybe you should stick inside. For your morning dog walk forecasts, early in the morning it's going to be a little bit cooler, but once that sun starts peeking out, it should be a great time to walk your little furry bud. It should be excellent. I think they would love to go on a little walk outside. Our Saturday drivecast as well. If you're going on a little road trip, I know my friend Payne, shout out to her, she's going to Nashville this weekend. It would be an excellent day to drive with the windows down in the morning. Even in the afternoon, if you have the wind blowing through your hair, that 80 degrees should be absolutely gorgeous if you are driving around town. And for our airport, if you're traveling this weekend by plane, there should be no delays here. As we have been saying this whole entire show, it is warm, it is sunny, it is clear. It should be excellent if you're going around the country. We are seeing all those greens as well. It is 80 degrees here, as I said, but even Atlanta, it's a little bit rainy, but there should still be no delays. And even farther out west where it's colder, we should be seeing clears. All the airports that we were showing don't seem to have a lot of snow nearby, so you should be okay. As Melissa was talking about earlier, it's probably going to be pretty cloudy outside, so I don't know if it would be the best night to go stargazing, but maybe if you went a little farther out, maybe towards the coast, it might be a little bit clearer. But for our forecast, as I said, this weekend it's going to be warm, not a big chance of rain. We might be seeing a little bit of rain farther into the week on Tuesday, but it should be absolutely gorgeous. As I said, maybe go out to the Mag Lab grand opening. I'm pretty sure there's also a musical festival at McClay Gardens this weekend. It should be just an absolutely amazing weekend to get out. And now I'm going to pass it over for the end of our show.
Thank you, Nikki. Yeah, we have a very warm week ahead, so if you're going to be outside, you definitely want to be prepared for that. It may be a good week to go to the beach, good weekend to go to the beach. We do have a slight chance of rain on Tuesday. That shouldn't drop any significant rainfall. The system I have my eyes on, though, next Friday could bring more decent rainfall to the area and potential severe weather. It is the springtime and it's warm, so you definitely want to stay aware and stay tuned to our shows next week to stay updated about the potential for severe weather next Friday. But you can always follow us on Twitter at www.twitter.com/FSUweather. You can like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/FSUweather. You can always watch us live on YouTube at www.youtube.com/FSUweather, and you can follow us on Instagram at FSUweather. You can always send pictures to us. We always love to see those pictures. And now I'm going to pass things off to the wall with Chandler for one last look at a very warm and mostly dry 7-day.
That's right. Of course, the 7-day can be summarized by 3 words: sweaty dinosaur weather. Pretty much going to be very warm across the next 7 days. 80s almost everywhere. 78 maybe on Friday, but that's it. Have a good one.